By the way, that's their reaction every time Zach Collins takes a three. I kid. Well, yeah. Cause the Giants stink. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. Maybe it's Happy New Year by the time you're watching this. And I caught a card from Pounding the Rock that had a couple different stats in there that I want to talk to you about, whether they are cause for concerns. They definitely were alarming to me, so I wanted to share it with you. I'll give my thoughts in just a few moments. But let's get into the article from Pounding the Rock. Toby Buhner, who is a very good analyst and a Spurs fan, suggested last week that trading Sohan might be a good idea. On the basis the Spurs had a 108 offensive rating, which is near the bottom of the league, until the November 4th when Sohan got injured. A 116 offensive rating, which was top 10 when he was sidelined, and a 110 offensive rating, which was 21st since his return on December 2nd and between Christmas. Okay, so the offensive rating worse with Sohan out. I do want to ask Spurs fans, and I don't know where to research this. What was the defensive rating at the time? I'm going to assume it was better. I mean, let's take a look at the recent loss against the Wolves. Sohan was the primary defender on Anthony Edwards, and Ant went 6 of 20 from the field. Let's give Jeremy some credit where credit was due. So I do think the rebounding and defense was probably better based on what I've seen. But yes, I certainly understand the offense is worse because Jeremy, he can't shoot, which we'll talk about in a moment. Harrison Barnes' Player of the Week was helped greatly by a set the Spurs frequently use. Barnes sets a screen for CP3, while Wemby cuts off ball around a screen by Champagnie, who then cuts into the corner where he is guarded. Teams aren't just going to leave Champagnie all alone in the corner just hanging out making a sandwich. Wemby, meanwhile, moves into mid-range territory where he draws so much attention, my goodness, does he ever, that Barnes is either open below the basket or if not, cuts to the perimeter for an open three on a Wemby dime. Replace Champagnie with Sohan in the starting lineup, and Barnes is no longer open. Jeremy Sohan at this point is always going to be open for three. There's no reason to respect his wonky, broken three-point shot. He's going to be able to shoot at will. He really needs to improve on that shot. I'm not asking him to be a 40% three-point shooter, maybe even not even in the upper 30s. Just get it to something respectable like 33 so teams aren't going to leave you open all the time. Because right now, much like last season and the year before, if I'm a defender, I'm going to be like, go ahead, dude. Unless he starts draining left and right, like he had a game recently where he went 3 of 3, he's going to be open all the time. I will say it is nice to see that Wemby is finding Sohan and a lot of alley-oops lately. Sohan's cutting, getting to the rim. Wemby's going to find him because of all that attention he draws. So that's been working. But overall, yes, the offense is a little worse with Sohan out there. And that doesn't mean Sohan won't be part of the Spurs long term. It only means the Spurs right now are probably not playing their offensively most potent starting lineup. Agreed, 100%. And one thing I want to finish this part of the article on is I do see a little bit of blame being pointed at Jeremy Sohan for that missed three. And, I was upset that he took that three and missed it too. But you know what? In hindsight, I put that on Mitch. He should not have been out there in the first place. Maybe he was thinking offensive rebounding by having Sohan. But if the ball ends up in his hands with the shot clock or the game clock expiring, he's pretty much one of the last Spurs I want to have taking that shot. The lineup probably should have been Wemby, CP3, Barnes, Devin, and then I think Champagnie hadn't made a shot all night, but Champagnie or Kelman, somebody, not Jeremy, not Jeremy in that case. I'm thinking maybe Mitch was thinking offensive rebounding, but that was bad. So I want to answer the first part of the question: are these stats cause for concern? I'm going to say no for right now. Jeremy's still young. He could develop a three-point shot. Our guys are young. It's a young team. They're still learning things. There's growing pains, etc. So the offensive rating being worse with him in there is not really a surprise because I do think the defensive rating's probably better, and we have won some games by slinging our D. What? Now, there's a second thing I want to address that I think is a cause for concern, and I got to scroll down quite a bit here in the article, and that's our bench play. So to answer the question from before, this one is my yes. This one, I think, is one for concern, and these stats are alarming. There is also little scoring help from the bench. In a combined 58 minutes, Keldon Johnson, Tre Jones, Julian Champagnie, Zach Collins, and Charles Bassey only managed to contribute a total of 19 points, with 13 of those coming from Keldon Johnson. That means the other 4 guys scored a total of 6. Keldon has some nice power drives to the basket, but his long-distance shot seems to be hibernating for the moment. No, it's been pretty much hibernating all season for maybe except for a couple of games. He's sub 30%, and he's normally, I think, a 35% shooter for his career, which isn't great, but it's a heck of a lot better than 28%ish. Like Trey, Castle, and Sohan, he's shooting well below 30% from deep this season. One thing is for certain, whoever will be on the roster next to Wemby in the future, the next great Spurs team won't be able to afford 4 non-shooters in their top 8 or 9 rotation. And when you look at the players, Keldon's three-point shot is broken right now. Trey has never been a good three-point shooter. Champagnie is a decent and our best three-point shooter off the bench. Collins, up and down roller coaster. Bassey ain't shooting threes. That's 4 guys that are incapable of hitting the three either at all or at a consistent rate. That is not going to work. And when I look at the 4 main guys, because we're pretty much in a 9-man rotation, Bassey and Collins are in the doghouse. Sohan's playing the 5, which has not really worked out well. Again, don't blame him. Blame Mitch for even putting him in that position. Point guard Sohan last year, now center Sohan. Give him credit for not going on the social medias and complaining about this. Anyway, let's take a look at our primary bench guys. And actually, I guess I don't need this article up here anymore, so let me pull up the disappointed Keldon and disappointed Wemby. Keldon's last 5 games, and these are all going to be for most recent to the oldest. Keldon's last 5 games, scoring-wise, 13, 15, 2, 4, 11. Inconsistent. Stephon Castle's last 5 games, 0, 6, 6, 17, 8. Trey Jones' last 5 games, 2, 2, 7, 2, 4. 3 of his last 5, he has averaged 2 points per game. You might be like, TSR, that's an anomaly. No, it's not. For the year, he's averaging 3.6 points per game. Granted, only 16.6 minutes, and I will again give credit where credit's due. He's been fantastic dishing the ball. And wow, the lighting is weird in here. I just noticed I'm kind of like a weird pinkish, whatever. Hopefully it's not too distracting. But he's averaging 3.6 points per game, and I'm not expecting him to go out there and average 15 a night with his limited minutes. But he should be around, 6, 7, maybe 8. And if the team is struggling to scoring, maybe look to take a shot because he's only averaging a couple shots per game. We're going to need more out of him. That scoring, it ain't cutting it. And Julian Champagnie's last 5 games, 0. That's right. Him and Castle combined for 0 in that loss against the Timberwolves. So if anybody stepped on the bench, we probably won that game. 0, 18, 9, 15, 7. So up and down. So one thing I'm seeing from all these guys off the bench scoring-wise is that they're inconsistent. There's no consistency at all from the bench, which is not helped from a lot of the inconsistency from our starters. Harrison Barnes, 21 night to the next. Then he'll put up 15 and then 0. He's all over the place. Vassell's inconsistent. Chris Paul's been inconsistent scoring. Sohan's been fairly consistent with around 10 to 15. And of course, Wemby's just going to do Wemby things. But our team scoring-wise, oh my gosh, they are all over the darn place. That being said, Spurs fans, we are going to get better. We're going to have growing pains again this year like we already are, losing games that we probably could and maybe even should win, but we're just not good enough yet. I think we're going to finish probably in 9th to 11th place in the Western Conference and more than likely lose our playing game and be a lottery team again, which with that stacked 2025 draft class might not be the worst thing if that happens. I'll be rooting for them to win, don't get me wrong, but if we're a lottery team again, it is what it is. And maybe, just maybe, Spurs fans, the basketball gods smile upon us again for the 4th time, because Robinson, Duncan, and Wemby, maybe the 4th time's a charm, we've already had charms, where we get another first overall pick, and we take Bailey or Flagg, and now our team is complete. We've got the final piece of the Infinity Gauntlet, and now Wemby's going to be doing and it's championship after championship after championship. Okay, I'm getting a little silly. I also want to close out with, as I'm saying, we're probably one player away. I know some of you are going to say, TSR, De'Aaron Fox, Kings are terrible. They're going to look to move him, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. 26 points per game this year, 26 last year. That sounds great. Just how good could he be with Wemby? I don't know. And I'm torn on Fox, and here's why. He is the leading scorer on a 14-19 team that has Domantas Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan. So is De'Aaron Fox coming to the Spurs the solution? Or is it transferring a problem that's in Sacramento over to us? Don't know. Whatever happens, if he comes here, I'll root for him. If he doesn't, then hey, all good too. That's all I got, Spurs fans. Drop a comment down below. Are you concerned with anything I went over today? The stats about the offensive rating and Sohan in the starting lineup, or the bench play that has just been, we see it night and night out, don't we? Spurs lately have been having good first quarters, and then the bench comes in the second, and wheels fall off. So let me know your thoughts on the bench. Hit the thumbs up, like, support the channel. We'll be live tonight, by the way, 7 p.m. Eastern for the New Year's Eve game against the Clippers. Miss TSR finally is back on TSR Sports. So we'll be here. Hope to see you in the chat so we can wish you a Happy New Year. And, of course, subscribe if you'd like to become part of our awesome San Antonio Spurs community. I thank you. And, as always, if you're watching this next year, then Happy New Year. Go Spurs, go.